Greetings, everyone. Please welcome to the regular monthly advisory board meeting. Can you hear me? Yes, ma'am. Okay. The regular notice requirements of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act has been complied with, and that adequate advance notice of this meeting was given at least 48 hours in advance. On January 19th, 2023, notice was mailed to the Carrier Post, Philadelphia Inquirer, and posted on the district website. Please prepare for roll call.
Ms. Alvarez, Ms. Gillespie, Mr. Gonzalez, Mr. Hudson, Ms. Jackson, Mr. Lebo Martinez, Ms. Merrickx, Vice President Nelson, President Mohammed. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
At this time, I'd like to invite to the stage students from our Creative Arts High School to sing Lift Every Voice.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Thank you very much for that wonderful rendition of Lift Every Voice. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the Board of Education will be going to executive session. I'd like to open the floor for a motion to go into executive session to discuss individual privacy, as well as the disposition and acquisition of real property. Do we have a motion, please? We have a motion by Mr. Hudson. Do we have a second? We have a second by Ms. Alvarez. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, the board will now be going to executive session as of 5:35 for approximately 45 minutes. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for affording the board the additional 5 minutes for the executive session. At this time, I'd like to open the floor for a motion to return to public session. We have a motion by Mr. Hudson. Do we have a second? We have a second by Ms. Gillespie. All in favor? Any opposed? At this time, as of 6:27 p.m., we have a return to open public session. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we will open the floor to our board committees to report out on their monthly committee meetings. We'll begin this evening with our Finance and Operations Committee being reported out by Board Member Alvarez.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ray. The Finance and Operations Committee meeting, the committee, met on February 23rd. In attendance was board members VP Nelson, Fabio Leva Martinez, and myself, along with School Business Administrator Ray Cox. Topics of discussion: the committee discussed the fiscal year 22, which continues to have a positive fund balance that will support us for the fiscal year of 24 budget. Our next meeting is scheduled to be held on March 28th, and that concludes the Finance and Operations Committee meeting report. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Alvarez. At this time, I'll turn the meeting over to Board Member Hudson to report out from the Policy and Governance Committee.
Good evening, everyone. Reporting out from the Policy and Governance Committee. We had our meeting on February 23rd. It was attended by Board Member Jackson, Board President Mohammed, and Sam Price and Teresa Reese. We discussed the committee secretary for this year, which is myself, and our meeting times for 2023. Monday before work session at 6 p.m., and it's typically every third Monday of the month. Updates from district reps. On March 9th, we have board training, annual ethics training after the work session, and also new policies and policy revisions. The second reading, you have policy number 6145.4 on student journalism, and policy 1110.2, social media for district purposes. And in review is policy number 9112, student representative to the Board of Education, which we're revisiting GPA qualifications and such. And so the committee's recommendations were to move forward with the student journalism policy and the social media policy for second reading, which I will go over that right now. So the policy committee is recommending the following policy revisions as second reading. Board policy 6145.4 on student journalism. The committee is recommending adoption of new policy 6145.1 regarding the student journalism. Specifically, the committee is proposing to adopt a new policy in compliance with the New Voices legislation passed in December 2021, protecting the rights of student journalists. And the second policy is board policy 1110.2, social media for district purposes. The committee is recommending a new policy 1110.2 regarding the use of social media for district purposes. Specifically, the committee is proposing to adopt a new policy which sets forth guidance and procedures for any social media account used for district purposes, and to establish guidance for responding to media inquiries. And that's the conclusion of my report. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'll open the floor for a motion to accept and adopt the two policies that have been provided and put forth by the Policy and Governance Committee. Is there a motion? We have a motion to accept. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second by Board Member Leyba Martinez. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, the policies 1110.2 and 614.6 have been adopted. At this time, I'll turn the meeting over to the superintendent to introduce our student representatives to share out their reports.
Thank you, Board President. At this time, we are going to start on the far end with our student representative from Big Picture Learning Academy, move over to BRIM, and we will end with both of our BRIM reps.
My name is Jakir Dean, and I'm representing Camden Big Picture Learning Academy. Some of the positives from my school are we finally got a calculus teacher. During my time sitting at the round table, I mentioned countless amounts of times how I need to have a calculus teacher to be able to learn something in math. We finally got one, and I am very thankful for that. He is a very great guy. His name is Mr. Harris, and he's very forthcoming, friendly, and he's eager to teach us just as eager as we are to learn something from him. Some of the things that our school could work on, not just our school, but each campus, is the quality that we take care of our school. It has degraded since last year. Recently, both my peers and teachers have reported that there are leakages around the school. Some of the bathrooms are not operational to the liking that appeases students. For example, one of the bathrooms on my side of the building is closed until further notice. I'm pretty sure it is probably because of students, but I'm not sure. Another thing is the custodians, maybe not the custodians, but the quality of their work could maybe be improved. Me and my teacher walk in our classroom at the same time in the morning, and we always turn the lights on to find that the desks are never wiped off, or that the floor still has the same amount of dirt, dust, and grime on it, and that would be nice to have fixed. Another thing is, this is a school that is worth over $1 million. We should treat it as one and not have students throwing food on the floors or running around the halls or whatever. We should need to treat it better. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jakir. Damien?
Okay. So my name is Damien. I'll be representing Brim as well as speaking for Camden High. He's sent a message. He couldn't make it today because of some personal business. Our first grow, I'd like to say, I'm a sophomore, so we've received the English 2 teacher, which was good because we need teachers, and his name is Mr. Ertz. He's a wonderful teacher. He's similar to our English 1 teacher that we had last year, which is like pretty cool because we kind of like still like we could vibe like that. And also a grow would be it will be more based on about the incident that happened at the Camden County chip game. As a cheerleader, I just want to say thank you to Superintendent McCombs and Board President for handling the situation well as any other person that was there handling like the people, because it kept our cheer team, also the audience, and East Side Cheers team safe during the everything that was going on. And I have the thing that Tyshawn said. He would like to say, I would like to thank the superintendent to allow our voices to matter. And during the luncheon, I forgot to mention, I just would like to publicly acknowledge and the cheerleaders at the game. Both teams did good by not interfering. Also want to state how the cheerleader season was cut short, being thought I am a senior, wanted to end my first year off on a good note, but I understand the consequences given. Not only that I feel as though cheer overall is overlooked and don't get enough recognition, but right after it happened, we had a nice closing and a cry session at our last practice. And he said, I just want to thank my coaches for giving me the opportunity to express my feelings of the situation and accept the closure of the season in my senior year. And I'll pass it on.
I got you.
Thank you, Damien.
So to kind of touch on what like Damien had talked about with like the whole situation and stuff, this isn't really like pertaining to like the administration and stuff. But like our senior class had just started like getting like closer because we were usually like divided. But it's kind of hard to like be an entire senior class when one of our like students is not being allowed to come back into the school because of the situation. So I feel like if you guys could work on that better, because he is trying to finish out his senior year here with us, but it's kind of hard when he's being turned away at the door. And then to kind of touch on what Jakir said about like the maintenance of the school, it is like, I would say mainly the students, because like in the girls' bathroom the other day, there was like toilet paper on the wall. And then like around the corner, I just seen like one of the signs were broken and there was like trash and stuff everywhere. So I feel like that could be better. I don't know if it's more like the students or the maintenance, but.
Thank you. One more? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Students are asking to like get rid of the block scheduling. They're not really happy with the block scheduling. They would prefer the 45-minute classes, which allows us to have all 8 periods every day throughout the week, instead of having the 82-minute periods for like every day in every class.
This is also another like senior thing, but like prom, like getting the funding and like the organization for all of that is kind of hard when like we can't fundraise the stuff that we need to, like snacks and stuff that was like banned, and we couldn't sell snacks because it was like competing with the lunchroom. And I get like we gotta like serve healthy food and stuff, but we also need the money to help fund like prom.
Thank you. Want to pause. Just want to make sure that it's okay. It's okay if you have more. We appreciate you, and we want to thank you, as always, for sharing your voices. You know that they matter. We meet, we have a chance to talk, and this is not the only session, but I want to thank you for what you have shared with the board, and for also the public and the community to hear your concerns, your glows and your grows about your high school experience. I'll turn it over to the board at this time to see if they have any questions or concerns. Board President.
Thank you very much, Madam Superintendent. Any board members have any comments or questions or concerns to our young people? Board Member Martinez.
Yes, I just wanted to, again, as every month, one of the board members always tell you guys, thank you for speaking up. It takes a lot for you guys to sit up there and speak up and say what you feel. Keep doing what you're doing. Obviously, there's certain things that you guys have brought up, like the calculus teacher, that has been taken care of. So every time you guys bring it up, it helps us make the decision. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much. Any other board members?
I just wanted to thank the young people for coming out. Thank you for using your voices. Thank you for allowing them to be heard. We don't know what we don't know, and you guys are our eyes kind of in and out of in the field. So we thank you for your support, and we thank you for being candid. We thank you for not being afraid to say what it is that you need to say, so that we can make changes for you guys and have a better learning experience for you guys. So we thank you for that. Thank you so much. And thank you for your friend for his comment on the phone. Even though he couldn't be here, that was thoughtful. So thank you guys.
Thanks a lot. Anyone else? Good. Thank you. Turn back over to the district.
Thank you, Board President. And at this time, we're going to, I'll ask everyone to transition down to the audience to prepare for the superintendent's presentation. Testing. Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for attending our February regular advisory board meeting. It is good to see everyone in place, and at this time, we're going to begin to provide the updates for the month of February. We can move to the next slide, and you will see an overview of the areas that we will cover for this month. The topics for this month, the February focus topics will be the amendment of the long-range facilities plan. We'll spend most of the time, and not a long time, but just most of the time that I have before you, myself and our school business administrator and board secretary, Mr. Raymond Cox, to share some of the highlights of our proposal for the long-range facilities plan. Then we'll have updates in the area of student enrollment, the Division of Talent and Labor Relations, attendance, and also teaching and learning, followed by a few district highlights and also some district upcoming events. And so as I shared on the next slide, when we talk about planning, we know that planning is so critically important, especially as we're planning for educational settings that will be conducive to supporting our young people and being able to go as far as they can in their academic pursuits. And so the Camden City School District remains committed to our vision for pre-K to high school to provide learning environments where all students are valued, accepted, and prepared to positively impact their community and the world. So at this time, we're going to move into the presentation of our long-range facilities plan major amendment. In tonight's board documents being proposed and presented to the board, we have prepared a long-range facilities plan major amendment, which must be submitted to the board for approval and afterwards submitted to the Department of Education for approval. And, oh, you're right there. Didn't see you. So you can come on over closer and we're going to share this information together. And so if you go to the next slide, you'll see two of the schools that are in our district. One, Eastside High School, which opened in 1929, and then Yorkshire Family School, which opened in 1920. If you can believe it, both of those buildings are still standing, but we know that over the years, there's been deferred maintenance, and so because of that reason, those buildings have not gotten the tender loving care that they need, the maintenance, the upkeep over decades. And what that means is that now, because of the lack of investment, there are current building conditions that although they may not be unsafe, they are still not the best that we can offer our young people in the Camden City School District. And so I want to go to the next slide and give just a quick overview of the project chronology so you can see what the timeline of events has been since we made an announcement back in November of a substantial investment into Eastside High School. I want to focus first on Eastside High School. So back in November, there was the unveiling of a $49 million investment, and we had that announced. We invited everyone. We made the announcement on the steps of Eastside High School, and at that time we also invited the chief operating officer or the chief officer of the Schools Development Authority, Mr. Manny Da Silva, along with our senator, our congressman, many other individuals and community members to take a tour of Eastside so that we can show, hey, this $49 million is going to refurbish the CTE lab. This $49 million is going to refurbish the auto body lab, et cetera. So we were moving forward, excited, positive to invest these funds in those areas, and then based on our walkthrough and based on some of the areas in the building that were seen, there was a concern that by investing $49 million into the current Eastside High, it would still leave a lot more repairs that needed to be done, and it would still leave a large amount of investment. We would need a large amount of investment in order to complete those projects. So at that time, we got feedback. And the feedback was, instead of providing an investment of $49 million into Eastside, there should be a push for more, a push for a new building or a fully substantially renovated building, but there should be something better, something more than that $49 million invested in Eastside. So in December, the SDA confirmed, and that's the Schools Development Authority that is responsible for overseeing projects for new buildings. They confirmed the district's approval of 2 new replacement elementary schools. In January, the district and external partners lobbied for lobbied efforts for a new high school project, and that would be the new Eastside High School project. And then this month, two areas that I want to just quickly highlight. The SDA and the district discussed project alignment. We met, we had a conversation, and elevated Eastside High School, there being a need for a replacement high school. And in February 2023, we were also told that in order to trigger that, there would need to be a preparation of a major amendment to our district's long-range facilities plan. And so I just wanted to make sure that it was clear on how we got from a $49 million investment to talking about a new Eastside High School. I'll kick it over at this time to our SBA to share a little bit about the estimated cost replacement.
So as you know, Superintendent, the district was approved for 2 elementary schools from the SDA. Those schools that were identified, and you can go to the next slide if you would, please. Those schools that were identified were Yorkshire Family School as well as Veterans Memorial School, as both of those schools were built before 1925. The SDA and the state of New Jersey were allocating around $60 million for each of those schools to be replaced, for a total allocation to the city and the school district of approximately $120 million. Upon the advocacy of our state senator, Senator Dosa Cruz Perez, and our 5th District Assemblyman, Assemblyman Melwin and Assemblyman Spearman, we've advocated through SDA and worked with SDA to realign our projects for replacement schools to really focus on Eastside High. As the superintendent mentioned, as we conducted the walkthrough the day we had the announcement of the substantial renovations to Eastside, the folks that are part of the tour, from the SDA COO to the congressman to the assembly folks in the 5th District, realized that the space and the use of Eastside, although a sound building overall, wasn't conducive to a 21st century learning environment that our students deserve. So that being said, we're looking at approximately $105 million to be invested for a potential new Eastside High School, bringing the total amount that we would need for 2 new replacement schools here in the district to around $165 million. So as you'll see on the bottom here, we have an estimated funding gap of $45 million. And that's where we're working with our assembly people and state senator to lobby the governor's office and work with the SDA to see where there can be some realignment within the state budget, see where there can be some realignment in the overall SDA projects to afford us that opportunity to advance this project for Eastside with that additional $45 million. Because now the SDA has gone from an initial investment of $120 million into the city school district up to now $165 million.
Thank you. And so when we move to the next slide, one of the things that we know is very critically important and we would have to share and prove with the SDA is that, and then the Department of Education, is that the building of a new Eastside High School, that there would be enrollment to support building a new Eastside High School. So currently, Eastside High School holds 517 students. There are 517 students attending. It holds more, but 517 students are currently enrolled. And if we look on the other side of this slide, you'll see the numbers of students who leave our district to attend Pennsauken Vocational, Sicklerville Vocational, and also you'll see at the bottom Freedom Prep. Those students in that school that is going to close at the end of this year, the number of students who are in that high school age group. And so when we take a look at the universe of students who could potentially choose Eastside High School, that is an important figure. And so we are building, or we are proposing, because we haven't even gotten approved yet, but we are proposing that a new building be built for a student enrollment of 750 and allowing for space to be able to add on to a building so that if that enrollment does increase and go beyond, that there would be ample space in order to build out this new state-of-the-art 21st century CTE-focused school, which would have other offerings, and you'll hear about that. So again, this is just a proposal, but want to share what the vision currently is. It is not set in stone. There will be community input, but the first hurdle to get across as a district will be to have our major long-range facilities, our long-range facilities plan major amendment approved by the Department of Education. If you go to the next slide, you will see listed here all of those CTE programs that are approved by the Department of Education. education. And in parentheses, next to each of those CTE programs is a location, the campus, whether it's Camden High campus or Eastside High School campus, where those programs are located. And so again, just as a reminder, back in 2020, there were 0 approved CTE programs in the Camden City School District. As of right now, we have these 13 approved programs, and it's additional if you count a couple more. Those are the pathways that are under. But we have 13 approved CTE programs. And some of these, again, are at Eastside High. Some are at the Camden High campus. It's important. The reason I'm pointing this out is because we know that students have many different options upon graduation. Some students have preferences to go to college. Some students have preferences to go to trade school, the military, all different types of pathways that are viable and that could actually provide them with a very decent wage and very wonderful life outcomes. And so we want to make sure that our young people in the district are prepared for whichever route they choose to take. If they want to go to college, they're prepared. If they want to go to a trade school, they're prepared. If they want to become an electrician, start their own automotive business, they're prepared. But we can't do that unless our facilities are able to house those state-of-the-art programs and the equipment for which our young people can practice and learn. And so we are looking forward, if this is approved, we would be able to do just that. We will be able to expand our program offerings in the area of CTE and others, as you will see soon. Next slide, please. And so if you take a look, these are just the programs that are only focused at Eastside High School. And so on the left-hand side, you'll see those that are currently approved: business entrepreneurship, education teaching, CAD, electrical trades, automotive trades, and on the right, you'll see some additional courses: culinary, graphic arts, and JROTC. And more courses are being approved each and every day. And so again, we can do more. We can do more to prepare our young people so that they have more options and more opportunities to learn right here in our district. And so I'm going to turn it back over to our SBA now, who's going to talk about some of the details when it comes to our plan that we would like to propose.
Thank you, Superintendent. If you would advance to the next slide, please. So this is kind of the nuts and bolts of our plan and the major amendment that we're submitting for the long-range facility plan. We're proposing a new school building of approximately 203,000 square feet to house just under 1,000 students and staff members. On the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see spaces and instructional labs for the programs that we currently have in place for Eastside. One of the things that we're adding into this space is for the JRTC program, a dedicated drill space and storage area for their supplies. Looking to have a cosmetology lab, which will be separate from the cosmetology theory and learning lab or instructional classroom for the cosmetology program. Looking for a dedicated STEM lab. Currently, we're converting the media center at Eastside and utilizing that as a STEM lab facility in the high school. But here, under this new proposal, we'll have a dedicated STEM lab just for that purpose. On the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see some of the other programs that the superintendent mentioned. Many lead to those various career pathways, those trade and technical pathways that have been discussed and presented, from an HVAC program to welding to electronics to plumbing to overall construction trades. Additionally, we're also going to be incorporating a medical arts lab as well as a nursing assistant lab. While we recognize that these two pathways are also offered at Brim Medical Arts, we also recognize that there are many career paths that fall under this umbrella in the medical arts field. So here at Eastside, we intend to offer 2 additional programs with a heavy focus on bilingual education and the bilingual aspect of medical arts overall in the field. If you go to the next slide, please. In addition to the various instructional labs for the CTE programs, we'll also have our general classrooms with 44 general education classrooms, as you can see, from our core subject areas to a music lab, 1 classroom for choral and 1 classroom for instrumental, a cosmetology theory classroom, again, separating out the instructional space from the hands-on learning space. And we're going to be doing the same for the automotive program as well. Although maybe a larger area, a combined area for teaching and instruction compared to hands-on, it's going to greatly expand the area that's currently involved and is accessible to the students in the current automotive program. For our special education students, we're going to be offering 2 life skills classrooms as well as 2 self-contained classrooms for our identified students in our special education population. One of the things I'm very excited about is the new auditorium. When you access the auditorium in the current Eastside, you see it's dark and dreary and just overall not conducive to performances and highlighting our student achievements in the school. This new auditorium space will give our students that opportunity to highlight and showcase their talents in a public forum, along with a new gymnasium and a new cafeteria and kitchen space. Next slide, please. I'll turn it back to the superintendent to discuss our partnerships.
Thank you. And so one of the things that I wanted to make sure that we highlighted is that this work can't be done in a silo, meaning it requires us, and when I'm talking about this work, I mean developing and expanding our CTE pathways and opportunities. It takes a partnership. So it is this district's desire that every young person who graduates, if they choose to, if they choose to want to be employed at Subaru, or if they choose to want to be employed at American Water or Holtec or any of these other industries that are in our city, Cooper Hospital, you see them listed. These are just a few that they should have that opportunity and have internships and present apprenticeship opportunities in order to be able to gain employment if that is the choice that they decide to make, because this is their city and they should have first rights to those opportunities. And so we are, again, grateful to our partnerships with these organizations as we continue to build out our CTE pathways and our internship and apprenticeship opportunities for our students to have those exposures. We are so very, again, grateful for those opportunities, and we look forward to being able to present to the board and continue to share with the public and the community and our families where our pathways have gone and how we've been able to grow them with partnering with those organizations in our city. Now we'd like to move to discuss Yorkshire Elementary School. As you remember on the first slide, we shared Eastside and Yorkshire, 2 of our oldest buildings. And I'll kick it, actually, before I kick it back over to Ray for one last time, I think, we will share the next slide, which has to do with enrollment. So currently at Yorkshire, you can go to the next slide. Currently at Yorkshire, there are 320 students. Yorkshire is a pre-K to 5 school, and it currently houses 320 students. And again, as we look at the various fluctuations that occur in our district, and again, I'm pointing to the upcoming closure of Freedom Prep, we look at the universe of students in that K to 5 category who would be available to be a part of the enrollment at Yorkshire School. And when we take a look at that, the Yorkshire enrollment opportunity is 576 students, and so the capacity for a new Yorkshire school would be between 500 and 600 students. Again, we would have to justify that we could have the enrollment which is necessary to support a new school. And we'll share the specifications.
Yes. Prior to going to the heart of the plan for Yorkshire, I would just want to mention, as the superintendent had mentioned earlier, we were initially approved for 2 replacement elementary schools, both those schools being built before 1925, and those schools being Yorkshire as well as Veterans Memorial School. What we're presenting tonight is kind of our revision to that plan for a replacement high school and a replacement of 1 elementary school. But I want everybody to know also, I know the superintendent does as well, that Veterans Memorial is not off of our radar. We are also including Veterans Memorial in our overall amendment for substantial upgrades. So the $49 million that we initially announced that we were going to be investing in the East Side, under this proposal, we're going to be reallocating those funds to address and do substantial renovations at Veterans. What does that mean? That means it's going to be the demolition of the annex in the back of the building, the back of Veterans School, which is the old trailers in the back and building an existing extension, an existing part of the building to house those 6 classrooms that are currently housed in trailers. It's going to be renovations of windows, roofing, HVAC, some of those substantial renovations that will be both visible as well as non-visible within the school to substantially improve the overall conditions of Veterans Memorial. But as we mentioned, the conditions of Yorkshire do warrant a full replacement, and that's what we see today. A 64,000 square foot school building, housing again classrooms from pre-K to grade 5, with 4 classrooms per grade level in grades pre-K through grade 4, and 3 classrooms in grade 5. Again, we'll have a combined self-contained classroom for grades 1 and 3 for our special ed population, as well as a combined 4 and 5 self-contained classroom for special ed. Then we'll have a dedicated art room and music room, and new updated kitchen, cafeteria, as well as gymnasium for Yorkshire. Next slide, please.
Thank you. And so this last and final slide kind of sums everything up. So again, if you look at this slide, you'll see steps 1, 2, and 3. We are excited about the prospect of building a new Eastside High School as well as a new Yorkshire Elementary School. There can be no doubt that our young people deserve that, and our staff members do as well. If this comes to pass, which so many of us hope will be the case, thoughtful decisions will need to be made. Every time a new school is built, there are many considerations and many steps and mandates to follow. So I want to just reiterate where we are in the process. The regulations go in this order. First, the long-range facilities plan approval, the major amendment to the long-range facilities plan approval at tonight's advisory board meeting. If that approval is gained, then the Department of Education must review and also approve this plan. Next, districts must submit a project application to the Department of Education, and once the application is approved, work begins with the school's development authority to determine specifications and cost analysis. So please be assured that we will have extensive discussions and will include and apprise the community as we receive definitive answers. Our goal is to always communicate the accurate information, and at this point, just want to make sure everyone knows this is where we are in the process, but we are still very excited as to the possibilities of what can occur if our long-range facilities plan is amendment is approved, and we're able to move forward with the next steps. So again, I'd like to thank you, Ray, for supporting me and for the work that's being done in the district behind the scenes to make sure that everything is in order for this information. The next slide, I'll go into a few updates. I want to remind everyone that the 23-24 pre-K through 12 student enrollment window is still open. We are still enrolling students. The main round closes March 10th. So if you want to enroll your students in the Camden City School District, you still have time. The main round closes March 10th. Next slide. Attendance matters. We can talk about, buildings. We can talk about wonderful futures, wonderful programs. But if our young people are not attending school on a regular basis in order to receive all of the things that our educators are preparing to give them, then we're really missing out on being able to influence and impact them and their futures. So again, during last month's board meeting, I shared with you that we had 6 schools that reached 90% daily attendance for 1 or more days in the month of December. This month, I am pleased to share that for the month of January, we had 8 schools that reached 90% daily attendance for 1 day or more in the month of February. That is to be applauded. Every step in the right direction, and that applause goes to the hard work of the teachers, the principals, all of those individuals, guidance counselors, paraprofessionals who work each and every day to make sure our young people are motivated. FOCs, I could go on and on. They work hard. For the month of January, I would like to recognize Actually, let me slow down. For this month, I would like to recognize and celebrate the following schools and their leaders, their staff, their students, teachers, and families. And they are Brim Medical Arts High School, Creative Arts High School, Vets, H.B. Wilson, Davis, Dudley, Morgan Village Middle School, and Caddo. Let's give those schools and their leaders a round of applause. Thank you for your commitment to reaching 90% or above for one day or more. These school leaders and/or their representative will be presented with an attendance certificate. And again, we are so very excited and very grateful. Oh, thank you. They're coming down to get their certificate. You can come too, Damien, because you are a part of it. Oh, you're taking pictures. Okay, no problem. But you're on that perfect attendance list, right? Okay, very good, very good. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Borelli Luke, for coming up. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, they're coming. All right, I see a repeat. A repeat. We're going to make it a three-peat next time. Principal Montague from Davis School. Thank you. All right. Principal Robinson from Morgan Village Middle School Academy. Excellent job. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Coming from H.B. Wilson, Ali Chikwekwe. Thank you so much. Please give our regards to Principal Harrigan Nash. Thank you for being here. And Caddo is in the house. Caddo is always in the house. Thank you. Please give our regards to Principal Dixon. Thank you so very much. And everyone else will make sure that they get their certificates, and we are so grateful for the increase. We need to increase. We still, even though, we're acknowledging and applauding our young people, want you to know that we still have a chronic absenteeism rate that is too high. We don't want a chronic absenteeism rate to be attached to our district. So that is why we take this time to encourage everyone to support our young people so that they can be in school every day. Next slide. The Division of Talent and Labor Relations has been working diligently. We know that there is a teacher shortage across the nation, and teachers are choosing to retire and leave the profession. And we also know that young people are not going into the teaching profession like they used to many years ago. So that means there are not the pool of teaching candidates has dwindled and shrunk, but that does not mean that we don't give our 110% to try to capture and bring in teachers, as you've heard from our student reps today. And so we continue to work to fill existing vacancies while also planning for the 23-24 school year. Our current teacher vacancy rate is 7%. There are 10 teachers who are currently onboarding, plus 2 more offers were recently completed. The rate of teacher separations is remaining consistent, unfortunately, and you'll see that in a few moments with our retirement list. We are averaging about 4 teachers that are leaving the profession each month or leaving our district each month. This unfortunate trend overshadows the slow but steady success of our continued mid-year hiring efforts. We are ahead of the game with hiring for the 23-24 school year, with jobs already posted and recruitment efforts already yielding high-quality candidates, and you can see them listed here. In addition, I just want to make one quick shout out so that we hopefully can get the word out to many people. In addition to participating in multiple virtual and in-person recruitment events across the region, next week, the Division of Talent and Labor Relations will be hosting a signature event, a hiring event at Camden High from 4 o'clock till 6 o'clock p.m. Again, that's Wednesday, March 8th from 4 to 6 right here. This event will focus on all school-based and facilities support positions across the district. We are hiring for them, and we hope to see you there. So if you know anyone who is looking for employment in any of the areas that will support our district, please let them know. This information is also on our district's website so that you can share that information. And I don't see is there a QR code? I can't see down there. There's a QR code there as well if you want to just access the information that way. Next slide, Camden Connecting. The Staff Connections program is a permanent initiative that's designed to deepen staff connection and investment in the district. Earlier this month, all district staff received the results of the engagement survey previously launched and the immediate next action steps to address some of the top concerns that were identified through this process, and we appreciate our staff members for participating at such high levels in this process. After reviewing the survey and roundtable results, 4 standing committees were formed. Displayed on the screen are these standing committees. I would also like to spotlight one of the committees this evening. The People Support Committee has already implemented the wellness and stress management strategy to assist staff in effectively managing feeling overwhelmed, effectively managing feeling stressed, and or burnt out. We know that is a reality for our staff members, and we want to make sure they have the supports that they need as well. This strategy collaborates with our employee assistance vendor, ComPsych, to provide structured programming and self-care tips shared on a monthly basis with staff. I will continue to provide updates regarding the great work being completed by our staff through the Staff Connection program. On to the next department, Teaching and Learning. Here you'll see pictures on that next slide of our Teaching and Learning division and the Professional Development Day that occurred on this past Friday. Here are our upper elementary and middle school teachers in their sessions. Our middle school teachers worked with Springboard consultants in a session titled Initial Institute Follow-Up Workshop. This session allowed teachers who have an opportunity to share best practices with using the Springboard program, while also having a platform to share challenges and be provided solutions with immediate implementation. Our teachers in grades 3 to 5 are now departmentalized, and it is critical for them to have time with their district colleagues. So again, we want to shout out our ELA content leads who led the consultancy sessions and all of those who were involved in this amazing PD. One of our 4th grade in-class resource teachers summarized these sessions by sharing, collaboration is essential for the success of both students and teachers in departmentalized grades. And so we look forward to sharing more about how those professional development opportunities are being translated into higher academic outcomes for our young people. Next slide. February 17th continued. Here are our high school science and math teachers at work. High school math and science teachers participated in areas related to what they taught. Teachers participated in either sound and optics labs with Pasco for our physics teachers, and they also were able to present expanding the gizmos experience for our biology and chemistry teachers, presented by a representative from Explore Learning. And finally, differentiation in the high school mathematics classroom, which was presented by a representative from Savis. There was just so much that occurred on that PD day, and we look forward to continuing that work in our bi-weekly Wednesday PDs, as well as our other PD offerings. Next slide. On February 17th, our high school English teachers also worked with a Springboard consultant who allowed them to have an opportunity to share best practices with using the Springboard program, while also having a platform to share challenges and to be provided solutions with immediate implementation. They focused on, the social studies teachers also focused on effective differentiation for whole group instruction with inspired instruction. And it is so important because we know that coming out of the pandemic, our young people were at varying levels of achievement, and so this allowed them to learn how to make sure they're addressing the needs of all of the students, regardless of where they are on the continuum. So again, we will continue to support our young people. And when it comes to visual and performing arts, as you can see here, there were lively professional development opportunities for our pre-K to 12 special area teachers. They engaged in various professional development experiences. Our music teachers explored advanced music recorder instruments to provide feedback on the appropriateness for an instructional program. Our art teachers learned about resources from the Art of Educators of New Jersey Conference that was turnkeyed by teachers Ms. Wallingberg from Brim and Ms. Nietzsche from Cream School. Art teachers also had a chance to visit each other's classroom to share projects, so it was a very collegial, rich day. And last but not least, health and PE teachers participated in 2 sessions, LGBTQT, inclusive language competency, and also suicide prevention. And so again, we will continue to share updates on how these trainings are helping our young people. And so now we'll go into the next phase of our district highlights. Here, our pharmacy technician awards ceremony. Brim's first pharmacy tech cohort received their certificates from Camden County College for successful completion of the pharmacy tech program. I want to remind you, it is the first in the state of New Jersey, so we are so very proud of our young people. The first comes out of Camden City School District. And so now these young people are eligible to be hired as pharmacy technicians. Now, while they're still in school, if they wanted to get an after-school job, I used to work at Kmart, but we won't go that far because Kmart is not even there anymore. But they can go and work as pharmacy techs because of the exposure. So this is what I was talking about earlier. We have to expand these opportunities so our young people can move forward. Maybe they want to not, maybe they may not want to become a pharmacy tech for the long haul, but they may want to work part-time as they put themselves through college. So again, there are many ways, but we're so proud of our young people, and thank you to their teachers and their staff and leaders for supporting them. Next slide, Brim Medical Arts High School's Allied Health Program, pharmacy tech students, internships with Cooper Hospital. So again, internships matter. Our young people, you see them there in their scrubs, so they'll know what it's like to, if that's the field they choose, they'll already have been acclimated to what that environment requires of them so they can be successful. So we're so grateful for that. And then next slide, again, highlights the certification in pharmacy tech, and you see our students with their certificates. Next slide, we're traveling over to Forest Hill Elementary School, where the Camden County Metro Police Department a couple weeks back presented their newest K-9 officer, Unity, to the students at Forest Hill. And so Unity is the brown Labrador retriever that you see. He's the newest police K-9. And so our students were able to meet Unity, but also to connect with our Camden County Metro Police Department in positive, non-stressful ways, so they can build that connection and see our police officers as people to protect them in the community and have those positive relationships. Next slide. This was really fun and really cool. You see our little people dressed up as 100-year-old individuals to celebrate the 100th day of school. As you can see across the district, they had a really, really great time. And again, it's a way of making math and learning fun. So that was a great day. Next slide. We had the opportunity a couple weeks ago to take a group of young men from Camden High and Pride Academy to the courthouse to be involved in a very powerful Black History Month activity. I'd like to thank the mayor, the board president, as well as the judges in the courthouse for opening up the doors. They fed our young people, and they also poured into them information from a guest speaker who talked about persisting and persevering through a hardship, an ordeal where he was convicted for a crime that he didn't commit and had to spend lots of time, 22 years I believe it was, in prison, but he kept fighting and was able to finally be exonerated. So our young people had the opportunity to hear and learn about what it means to persevere. Next slide. And I want to shout out the district, actually the citywide FAFSA challenge. So the mayor kicked off a citywide FAFSA challenge for all high school students, regardless of whether they attend traditional district, charter, or Renaissance schools, to compete. In each school, any school that has the highest percentage of students to complete the FAFSA, the financial aid application, they will receive $25,000 for their school. So whatever high school, again, receives the highest percent, has the highest percent of students to complete the FAFSA, their school will receive $25,000. And I think this is a great opportunity for there to be competition in an academic way, because we want our young people to take advantage of the scholarships, the grants that are out there. But if they don't apply, then they won't be eligible for those. And so we are working with our young people guidance counselors, 12 plus, anyone who will, it's an all hands on deck approach, because the Camden City School District wants to win. I'm going to claim it, we will win. One of our high schools in this district will win that $25,000, and it's not about the money, it's about knowing that 100% of our students will have the opportunity to be eligible for FAFSA and to go to college, and not to have money be a barrier. So please join us. Please make sure you can go on the, scan the QR code, and there's a tracker that you can see in real time of which schools are in first, second, third, fourth place. And again, this is a citywide competition, and so we want to bring home the $25,000, but more importantly, we want all of our young people to be eligible for those financial aid dollars. Next slide. Creative Arts recently held a Blacks in Wax museum in celebration of Black History Month. They do this every year, and they did an awesome job of bringing to life those legends in Black history over at the Creative Arts High School. And staying at Creative Arts, Miss Benita Farmer was featured, and she's one of our very talented vocal instructors at Creative Arts. But each of our pre-K to 12 art teachers have been busy preparing for their end of the year school-based art shows. And so in addition, we'd like to highlight Miss Farmer, who shared in the ensemble and was the music and vocal director for The Color Purple at the Ritz Theater Company from February 10th through 26th. Also, several creative arts students and staff members were ecstatic to attend this production, and it sold out on several evenings. So we are so excited for all of our art teachers and music teachers, and we again shout out Miss Farmer. And so just a few upcoming events, and then we'll transition back to the stage. This one is very important. Tomorrow evening at 6:00 p.m., there will be a very important event that is happening. I'm excited to join Mayor Victor Karstafen, Councilwoman Noemi Sonia Perez, Chuck Valentine from the Housing Authority, Greg Pease from Virtua, and a very well-known resident here in Camden, and of course Comcast, to talk with our families tomorrow at 6:00 p.m. live on our district's Facebook page about how to get free, reliable, high-speed internet. I, along with this entire group of stakeholders, are committed to ensuring that our students, parents, and families have a connected device, digital skills through Family University learning sessions, and a reliable and fast home broadband connection. One of the things I'm most excited about is that our family operations coordinators will be serving as the district's digital navigators and can provide support to those who need assistance accessing devices. So please join us. It will only be 1 hour, very short. We went over everything today. We're not going to hold people long, but you can join right from the comfort of your own home by logging on to our, signing in to our district's Facebook Live page. And next slide talks about another important and very wonderful opportunity for our parents and daughters to bond together. It's our Girls Leadership Parent and Daughter Book Club. And again, you see the date. The book club will begin April 19th. Please look for more details. Get more details from your school's family operations coordinator and also our district's Facebook page. Next slide, Empowering Fathers Workshop. The Forest Hill Elementary School has a series of workshops for empowering fathers, and so we want to make sure that you are able to take advantage of those opportunities. They've been great, and as you can see, the next offering will be March 16th. Thank you. It's blurry. This page is blurry. Thank you. March 16th at Forest Hill. Okay. And the next and final slide, elections. Elections are coming for those parents who want to be officers in our district's parent advisory councils. Excuse me, our BPACs, our DPACs. We're looking for leaders, so on March 8th at 4 p.m. at Dudley School, if you want to be a leader, please come out. It's important that everyone has the opportunity also to vote for our district leaders of these parent advocacy groups. And so please, again, elections are coming soon, and we look forward to hearing more and being able to announce who those leaders are amongst our parents. At this time, we'll transition back to the stage, and at that time, our board president or his designee will acknowledge our retirees. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you much, Madam Superintendent, and we appreciate the updates that the district is going. Next, we're going to designate Board Member Falio Martinez to announce our retirees.
Good evening. I would like to take the time on behalf of the school district to recognize some of our retirees. Please excuse any of the mispronouncing of the names. I would try my best. The first person with 25 years and 9 months, art teacher Faze Cheyenne Watkins. Thank you for your service. 23 years of service, school counselor, Minerva Castro. Lourdes Coto Rivera, teacher of health, 32 years and 3 months. Margarita Estrada, teacher of special education for 24 years. Mary D. Agati, teacher of pre-K for 14 years. Marisol Agreda, bilingual teacher for 33 years. And Beatrice Desiree, teacher for 22 years and 9 months. Thank you very much for your service, and congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you. At this time, I'll turn it over to our general counsel, who will lead us through the public comment portion.
Thank you, Superintendent. The Camden City School District welcomes the attendance and comments from all members of the public at its meetings. This public comment period is your time to be heard on the agenda items in the meeting. This is not a time to engage in a dialogue with the board, but it is your time to present your comments to the board and the superintendent. Each person who signed up to comment will have 3 minutes. You will be notified when your 3 minutes are up. You cannot yield your time to another person. When it is your turn to speak, please remain at the podium and address all your comments to the general counsel and the superintendent. Please be courteous to your fellow community members and keep your comments within the time frame allotted so that everyone has the opportunity to speak. At the end of the 3 minutes, the microphone will be cut off and we will end your comment time. We also request that you please conduct yourself in a respectful and courteous manner. The First Amendment is not absolute, meaning that the board, excuse me, meaning that the board can prohibit language that is inappropriate. For anyone whose comments or actions either harass, intimidate, threaten the safety of any person, or if you curse, use vulgar language, or make personal attacks, we will provide you with a warning or immediately end your comment time. We will not interrupt you during your 3 minutes unless we deem it necessary. After the public comment period is closed, the superintendent or her designee will address your questions to the extent provided by law. I will begin by calling the names of the individuals wishing to provide in-person comments before reading any written comments. As a quick reminder, all public comments read aloud during the board meeting are the views of the person submitting public comment and are not the views of the superintendent, the advisory board, or the Camden City School District. Thank you. When I call your name, please come up to the podium. There will be a timer displayed on the overhead projector. The first person signed up to comment is Nathaniel Gilbert. Looks like we're having some technical. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, the only comments that can be made during public comment are at the podium. And the first person signed up to comment is Nathaniel Gilbert.
Gotcha.
Mr.
Good
Gilbert,
evening.
You can begin whenever you're ready.
I want to address the school board and the Department of Education on the topic of Titus Bacon and why he's unable to attend his school, go back to a school where all his peers are at and his classmates. He want to graduate from Brim. We want him to graduate from Brim. Just want to know why he's not being allowed in school.
Thank you. The superintendent will address comments to the extent she's able after everyone has a chance to provide public comment. Thank you. The next person signed up to provide public comment is Titus Bacon.
Hi, thanks everyone for coming. My name is Titus Bacon. I have been enrolled and educated in the Camden City School District since I was in preschool, and it is my goal to complete my high school education as a senior at Brim Medical Arts. First, I would like to address the school board and the Department of Education. Since the incident on February 16, 2023, I have been in contact with multiple members and the superintendent, Ms. Combs, at least 4 times, and nobody has asked how I was doing or reached out to my family about my well-being. After I received 4 stitches, experienced nausea, and ongoing headaches. Mr. Nam, you know me personally from participating in community events and cleaning up parks during the summertime under your program, Not in Our Parks. And I'm asking you personally to please help me in this matter and help me understand why am I being ostracized by my community where I am very involved and active in. Being treated this way by my own city, the city that I love and adore, has hurt me way deeper than 2 punches I received during the basketball game. Although I can be healed from the physical wounds, the mental and emotional wounds will always affect me. My family and I are looking for a due process being explained of why I was expelled for defending myself and also when I can continue my education at Brim. I would like to leave with this quote from the great MLK. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Thanks for hearing me out. Titus Bacon. Can I have someone speak on my behalf?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Can I have someone else speak on my behalf?
Oh, unfortunately, you cannot yield time to another person.
No, not yield. He wasn't able to sign his name up because, the paper wasn't out there.
Unfortunately, if somebody wasn't here and not in time to sign up, what we can do is if there's time at the end, so if everyone has an opportunity to speak who has signed up and there's still time left over, we can have that person speak.
No problem.
Thank you. And then if you can just, whoever that individual is, if you can just make sure that, I'm looking for Brian Gregg, who's raising his hand in the back. If you can just provide your name to Mr. Gregg, and he can make sure that I get that name. The next person signed up to speak is Devada Hill. Did you say you passed? Yes. Okay, thank you. The next person that is signed up to speak is Vanessa Hill.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Vanessa Hill. I am the grandmother of Titus Bacon, and I'm also a former Camden City Board of Education employee. I served in the capacity as both a social worker and a school psychologist. I just want to go on the record to state that the video that I saw where my grandson was assaulted, not once but twice, was extremely disturbing to watch. But even if it had been any other child, it would still be very extremely disturbing to me. Why? Because I have empathy, and we all should have it. And we shouldn't be selective about who we give empathy to. And what's more disturbing is the fact that the officials who witnessed the first hit, even if they did not see it as an assault, which I did, should have been addressed as a flagrant 1 foul. And that could have prevented the second hit, which clearly was even more aggressive. Therefore, it should have been considered and classified as a flagrant 2 foul because it resulted in blood. There was a blood path on that court, and a significant amount of blood was left in the area where Titus stood. And that was because his mouth could not contain it all. This assault injury that Titus sustained on that day required medical attention and also follow-up care. If the referees or officials, as well as many of the other district officials, and some of you were there then and you're here now, have responded appropriately, I wouldn't be standing here today. Our family wouldn't have gone through this trauma and having everything disrupted if people will stop showing favoritism and go to the victim, find out about what's going on with the victim, because he clearly was the victim in this situation. And also, and I speak for the young men from Eastside High here who are not able to carry out their destination. It's just not fair. It really isn't fair. Had it been addressed the right way, both schools. We don't divide up and say it's all about one school and not another. Is that 3 minutes?
Thank you, Ms. Hill. That is 3 minutes. The next person signed up to comment is Robin Long.
Good evening. Administrators, board members, and the city of Camden. Much has taken place in the past week until today. Some of it true, some of it false. Some of it fair, some of it unfair. Camden is a city of minorities that seem to be divided into two. You have your east side and you have your west side. Everything I call, like anything from this bridge all the way to downtown, I'm calling that west side, okay? And on the west side, there's new buildings, renovated homes, and new schools. On the east side, there's dilapidated buildings, old schools, and ran down homes. We raise children to become young women and young men with integrity, character, and dignity. Camden is one city. Y'all gotta excuse me, my nerves is like really shot, but I'm gonna get through this. Camden administrators and elected officials, you are elected by the people, for the people, and of the people, okay? As elected officials, my question to you, going forward, what plan or plans do you have in place so that history does not repeat itself? It's a disgrace. And I am so upset behind the fact of that melee that took place last Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day it was. But some of you elected officials were there. One of you got up on the mic after the people who caused the confusion had left. There's tapes that there was not one elbow, it was 3. My grandson experienced the first one, but he shrugged it off. Poor Titus, there's plenty of footage. Do your own research. Poor Titus, it wasn't no elbow, it was a fist. Anytime you bring your elbow up to here, that's a fist. Nothing was done. And I'm just asking each and every one of you who have children, who have athletes that's looking forward to go to the next level,
Thank you,
to
Ms. Long.
rectify this situation.
Thank you, Ms. Long. The next person signed up for comment is Sue Bowen.
Good evening. I am Sue Bowen, teacher at Yorkshire School, so I'm glad I picked this board meeting to come to. I'm very excited about our new school. Thank you. School culture and climate issues are paramount to address. We're all experiencing collective drama due to COVID. I am pleased to learn that the Healing Center Engagement Initiative and Trauma-Informed Care Training has started with the trusted messengers, their school teams, and coaches of 8 Camden City School District schools. The Healing Centered Engagement Initiative is in its 3rd cohort and is centered around the work developed by Dr. Sean Ginwright. The program partners are NJPSA-FEA, NJEA, and NJMHA. This initiative is a 3-part series: ACE's interface curriculum, trauma-informed schools, and healing-centered engagement. This initiative is of no charge to the school district. The next step of the training is to train all school employees. The advisory board is equally important to participate in ACEs and trauma-informed care. The same training will be delivered several times to different schools. I would like to invite the advisory board to participate in this training. And my last question to you is, which training will you attend? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bowen. The next individual signed up to speak is Karen Borelli-Luke.
Good evening. Karen Borelli-Luke, Brim Medical Arts High School, speaking as the head building rep for Brim. On behalf of the staff, we support student Titus Bacon on his quest to remain at Brim. We are family, and family sticks together. We do not shun or lock out. We embrace all our students, but the seniors are always special. We had the opportunity to nurture and mentor our students over 4 years. It is not fair to strip Titus of the opportunity to graduate with his family and fellow students. It is not fair to strip the staff of the opportunity to share in the joy with Titus as he graduates and journeys into his future after we spent the years with him. We want the advisory board and district admin to know we would love to see Titus remain with us, his family. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Luke. Next person is Terrence Long.
Skip.
Did I hear a skip?
Skip.
Skip. Thank you. The last person signed up, and then I think we have one addition, is Gary Frazier.
Good evening. Superintendent, it's been a long time, guys at the school board. Thank you for having me here tonight. I'm never going to be a fan of a child being outside of school. That's number one. Education is paramount in our city. That's number two. It's a child of ours here in Camden. I would ask the school board to look into seeing that this student be allowed back into school. I don't know the circumstances behind it, but a child out of school is an issue for me. So I would like to see something happen about that. I would like to know what's going on in regards to that. I don't know. But I did read the article. But I'm here for other reasons. Haven't seen you guys in a while, superintendent, members of the board. Been doing a lot of work around systemic racism, not only in our city, but throughout the county. So I came here for a number of reasons. One, superintendent, taking the actions, the necessary actions when we have students who go outside of our city, they carry Camden on their back. And when you carry Camden on your back, you have to represent Camden well. Those of us who actually do this work, fight for our people, get out here and do this work, we do it because we love Camden and we do it for our people. So that was a hardball decision for the superintendent to make because I saw the videos, I saw the initiating, I did see the restraint from the East Side High students, I did see a number of things. Tough call to make, best call to make. If we fail one, we fail all. If we fail one, we fail all. If East Side High was not at fault, well, they know the rules. That's 101 to the game. Camden High know the rules of the game. I don't care about any of that, but what I do care about is us as a people when we go outside of Camden and represent Camden. We are not going to point the finger and say, well, this should happen, that should happen. Accountability is all the way around the board. One fail, we all fail. So, great work there and taking the necessary actions on that. I stand firm on that. Superintendent, I'm here on behalf of asking for the extension of the Camden City School District into the upcoming circumstances that are happening over at Collinswood Middle School. These are some of our children who have transitioned over into that district over there who are experiencing areas around systemic racism, and it's crazy there. And so, because I had worked in this district around advocacy for a little over 13 years of my life, I'm asking for an extension of the Camden City School District into Collinswood, their solution center, and any other wraparound resources that will aid and help and ensure that those kids can continue to get a high quality education at that school. As we deal with the systemic racism, areas of professional development are warranted. Systemic racism is a huge thing. Diversity training is also warranted there. Cultural training is also warranted there. My attention will then now turn to the Collinswood Education Association and the New Jersey Education Association to ask them to also work in reference in regards to that. This is a very serious matter, and I ask to speak to you afterwards off the line.
Thank you, Mr. Frazier. And then the last individual we have signed up for comment is Ricardo Dale.
How you doing? Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I just want to ask you, personally, you can't answer this question, but where do you expect Titus Bacon to go? We're here, and we're here for our students. And when you kick a young man out on the streets, where is it that you think that he's going to end up? So instead of giving him the opportunity to be able to, reflect on his mistakes, we just kick him to the streets to do God knows what. Titus Bacon is a good student. Titus Bacon is a student who also has a full scholarship to college right now that he's in jeopardy of losing. So not only is he not allowed to go back to school, he's in jeopardy of losing a full opportunity a full scholarship that could change his family's life, change his life. And this board right here is about to take that away from him. Take that away from him over an altercation where he made a mistake, where he reacted to a situation, and in one moment, we're gonna take his whole life away from him. Titus Bacon was assaulted. He was assaulted twice by law. If this was not a basketball game, an extension of an elbow twice to his face, he was assaulted twice. And he reacted to that, and because of that, he can no longer go back to school. I would like you to ask yourself, what resolutions do y'all have in place? What bylaws do y'all have in place that it says that an altercation like that results in him being expelled from school? Because where's the consistency? I personally know students who have gotten fights in your school district this year who have not been expelled. I personally know numerous students who have gotten fights in your school district this year that have not been expelled. And we have Titus Bacon expelled over an altercation where he was assaulted first. So if we're gonna have this level of discipline, where's the consistency with it? Where's the consistency? And I don't want to go and have these other students expelled right along with Titus. No, that's not what I'm looking for. But I want you to ask yourself, where's the consistency in this school district? Why is there no other students that were in that altercation? Why are they not having any consequences? Where's their consequences? And again, I don't want them to have consequences because I want all these students to go on to excel. But think about the message that y'all are sending. This is going to get a lot bigger than what it is right now. Because I know myself, our lawyers from our organization are looking to pull in the news articles. They're looking to start doing research on your past engagements because of Titus. And this is going to affect other students. And I don't want that affecting other students. I don't want that affecting Titus. So why are we putting ourselves in this situation? This is a great man for the city of Camden. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Dale. Superintendent, that is the last individual signed up for public comment. There are no written submissions this evening, so I will turn it back to you to provide any comments. So we request everyone that signed up in advance before the meeting starts. If somebody was not here at the start of the meeting, ma'am, I'm sorry, you already had your 3-minute comment, and we have a 3-minute limit on public comment. Ma'am, we have a 3-minute limit on public comment. Ma'am, thank you for your passion. However, we do have a 3-minute limit on public comment, and we've heard from everyone this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to first say thank you to everyone who had the opportunity, who took the opportunity to come. You didn't have to. You came. You expressed your voices. Thank you to everyone who did so. Titus, thank you as well for standing at the mic and expressing your own opinions again. I had the opportunity on, I can't remember which day it was last week, but to witness something very powerful. Our young people at Eastside High School who formed a protest movement, who peacefully and respectfully protested in an organized manner. They did an outstanding job. And I was very, very, very proud of them, because that is them putting their education into action. Student voice is very important, and we took the opportunity that day to listen. I was there. I heard all of the voices of all of the young people who chose to speak, but I know they collectively worked together. So again, thank you. On that day, I don't believe I heard Titus, you may have. I'm not sure if you had a speaking part, but I know you were a part of. Yes, you had a sign, I believe, as well, and everyone was able to share. But again, I want to thank you for also participating, as well as your teammates, Cairo, and some of the others that I see in this area. I want you to know that I'm not saying something just because of this very unfortunate incident that took place. I would, let me say, how do I say this in a way that makes sense? I would, as a superintendent of this district that I love, and I know we all love this district, many of us were born and raised in this district. What happened the day of the basketball game it was difficult for all of us to be able to have to deal with, but I did not get hit. I did not feel the physical pain that you felt, but I did feel the emotional pain of having to make difficult decisions and having to hear decisions made about the two basketball teams in the district that I serve as a superintendent, and the consequences that were meted out by the NJSIAA before I even had to also render a decision. So this has been a painful process for us all. I can only speak for myself at this time as your leader, and I know you have experienced pain. So thank you for very respectfully sharing your feedback, your thoughts with me. I want to just clear up one thing. There have been no students expelled from the Camden City School District under my administration, and I've been in this role since 2019, so there have been no expulsions, and we don't believe in expelling students. I have forced and pushed and continue to look for more restorative approaches, which is what I heard the last gentleman who spoke. I believe you have that same mindset based on some of the things you said, but to figure out other ways to help our young people learn from their mistakes. So there was no expulsion. I cannot, unfortunately, matters that involve students are legally protected. And because of that legal confidentiality, I can't comment to the press. I can't even comment in public at this board meeting to discuss anything that concerns Titus directly or any of the other students who may have been involved. So I'm not trying to shirk or be anything other than transparent. I'm not trying to be opaque, but I can transparently say that I'm just not allowed to do that in my role as a superintendent. It would be the same situation if there was an adult whose personnel issues or disciplinary actions, I could not comment on those in the press, and I could not comment on those publicly. But I do want you to know that I have heard, I have listened, and that's all I can say, because I'll end up breaching confidentiality. I want to also thank, and I want to thank Ms. Hill, Miss Vanessa Hill. I don't have my glasses on, that's why I can't see you. Miss Hill, right over here in the green. Thank you for sharing as a grandmother and also being an employee of the Camden City School District, working diligently in this same area of making sure that our young people have support. So again, I heard you, I heard everyone, I see you, and I want to thank you. To move on, I want to also thank Ms. Bowen for your feedback and invitation this evening. Again, when we're talking about trauma-informed learning is important to all of us. Thank you for sharing the details again of the initiative. Ms. Bowen, you're still here, right? Yes, you are, okay. I can't, if, I'm not going to take my glasses on and off. That's why that happens. But Ms. Bowen, thank you again. It is critically important, and we have seen the benefits of trauma-informed practices, and we look forward to expanding those in the district. So thank you for your advocacy and being instrumental in that area. I want to also take the opportunity to thank Mr. Gary Frazier, who is still here as well. It is good to see you face to face. Haven't seen you in person in quite some time. Thank you for the feedback and for your comments. I am aware of what is transpiring in Collingswood, and I do believe collectively we are responsible for just practices, fair practices, and safety everywhere. And I'm hopeful that you have also reached out to the Collingswood superintendent. I know he's a colleague of mine as well, and the Board of Education, which it sounds like you have. But again, I would not mind talking to you offline after this meeting to see if and what I could do to support in that effort. I think that's it. Okay, and again, as I shared, in looking at the list, most of the comments tonight were surrounding Mr. Bacon and advocating for him. Titus, you are surrounded by a village, literally and figuratively, of people who love you. And that display, that's something very powerful to see, and it is an example to many of how to hold on to our young people and advocate for what's in their best interest. So again, I look forward to being able to speak to you, Ms. Hill, Ms. DeVita Hill, Ms. Vanessa Hill, Ms. DeVita Hill, so that we can have our meeting, which I believe is scheduled tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. And at this time, again, thank you for your comments. I'll turn it over to our board president to see if our board members have any concerns, any comments or concerns.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Superintendent, and we appreciate your service to our community, to our young people all throughout Camden. Before I ask my fellow board members about any comments, I just want to make a comment on behalf of the Advisory Board of Education. We too are unable to discuss anything that involving students in our school district and our district employees, and whether it's a student or staff, publicly we cannot speak on it. And we appreciate the advocacy, and we appreciate what we see here tonight, the student participation, the family participation, and those soldiers who've been out here on the battlefield and people working on behalf of Camden City. We appreciate it. This is the avenue of which people come to the school district to announce their concerns. And we've been doing this for years, some of us for many years, so we welcome you to continue to come and express your concerns about the Camden City School District and hold all of us accountable here for what we were elected by. So at this time, are there any other school board members that would like to make any other comment? And as before we turn it back over to our BA, and I just want to say I appreciate the opportunity of these board members who I stand by, who do such a wonderful and magnificent job in the community, making sure that some of our families and our students' needs, as we hear things that happen and hear issues that goes on in our city, they always, you guys always put your ear to the ground, your feet pavement, and what you do and everything that you do in the community to make sure that our community have access to us here in the community. Well, most of us are here working in the community. You have access to us. We're here bringing your concerns here, but the more we participate in this process, the better that Camden become. We heard your voice about One Camden. Thank you. I turn it back over to the district.
Thank you. Thank you, Board President. At this time, I'll turn it over to our Board Secretary to present the business office agenda items for approval.
Thank you, Superintendent. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, this evening I present to you our business office and financial agenda items, including our bill list for the month of February, totaling $35,733,058.36, along with the various addendum items which have been added since our work session last Thursday. At this time, I'll open the floor for any questions anyone may have. Hearing none, I'll turn it back to the superintendent.
Thank you, Board Secretary.
Madam Superintendent, can we interrupt just for one moment? We do apologize. Our board member, not from a mistake from his behalf, it's just an oversight to announce a few of our educators that retired. There was another page, and we take that seriously to announce those who have worked in our district for many, many years to get their roses while they're still here. Thank you.
We were trying to keep them one more month. It didn't work.
Yes.
So I would like to announce Ms. Susan Harper, Education Program Specialist for over 25 years. Mr. Floyd Rimson Jr., math teacher for 15 years. Ms. Phyllis Perez, school counselor for over 25 years. Mr. Gary Shannon, elementary teacher for 22 years. Ms. Leola Denson, computer teacher for over 36 years. Thank you so much again for your service and dedication to our district.
Thank you, Board Member Martinez. We turn it back over to the district.
Thank you, Board President. In accordance with the powers vested in the State District Superintendent under Title 18A, I hereby approve today's superintendent's agenda items and business office agenda items. I turn it now back over to our Board Secretary for adjournment.
At this time, I'll open the floor for a motion to adjourn the meeting as of 8:09 p.m. We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Meeting is officially adjourned. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out this evening. Be careful going home.